Hey there, my fellow lunatics, and welcome to Dakon's Madhouse. Hey, would you like a free copy of Corekeeper for yourself or for a friend? Subscribe to my channel and leave a comment with the hashtag MadForCK and include the device that you play on. Be sure to pause the video here and check out all of the details. Hey there, everybody. Today we are going to take a look at an endgame summoner build. Let's go ahead and get started with the gear. First, we have the entire Grim armor set. All three pieces drop in the Molten Subbiome from Charred Crates, Lava Slimes, or from Igneous. The highest drop chance is from the Lava Slimes and increases our minion count by 4. In the Lantern slot is the Soul Lantern. This drops off of the Titan Raw car and increases our minion count by 1 more. In the next slot, I've chosen the Soul Medallion. It has a small chance to drop in the Alien Battle Arena, but your best chance is either from the Hydra boss Krydra or Pyrdra. It does not drop off of Druidra. This necklace increases our minion count by 1. Now, if you haven't found this necklace, I recommend the Skull Necklace as an alternative. It drops off of Malagaz. Puppet rings go in both ring slots. These add an additional minion each, bringing our total to 8 minions with this build. This ring can be fished up in the desert water, and it drops off of mummies, raw car, and occasionally in golden ancient chests found in desert mazes and some mural scenes. Finally, for the offhand item, I've gone with the blue leather tome for the high magic damage and mana regen. It can be crafted from the Malagaz statue at the core. Alternatively, the Rift Lens also fits well in this slot. And actually, let's not forget our bag slot, which is the Scholar Satchel. This drops off of any of the Hydra bosses. It also has a small chance of dropping off of the Atlantean Worm. This build does not need any extra weapons beyond the summoning pets. However, if you want to use an additional weapon, literally anything works. I recommend a ranged or a melee weapon so that you can keep your mana on reserve for summoning more minions. Crit chance weapons like the Throwing Dagger or the Galaxite Dagger will synergize well with your skills. For summoning items, I prefer the Tome of the Deep. This can be found in seashell chests and other drops all over the Sunken Sea. When it comes to your skills, there's only a couple that we really want to talk about. Of course, anything that improves your movement speed is always nice, like Gotta Go Fast, but the first one that really matters is in the cooking tree, and that is the Smell of Food. This one gives you a 20% damage boost by you and all of your nearby allies. Your minions count as nearby allies, so they will get this 20% damage boost. Then in the Mage tree, we have got True Sight, which will improve my critical hit chance, as well as Arcane Frenzy, which increases my magic damage for a short duration on a critical hit. That is why I wanted to use critical hit chance weapons, because if I can improve my chance to get a critical hit, I will increase my magic damage. What does that do? Well, that gives me an advantage that we're going to see when we take a look at the Summoner tree. The final thing that matters here is Fully Charged, which gives me a 30% magic damage boost based on my remaining mana. If I don't use my mana for anything other than summoning, I should be at full mana most of the time, giving me that 30% magic damage boost. So why does magic damage matter on a summoning build? Well, the main reason is for this skill, Trickle Down Arcana. Your minion damage is increased by 50% of your magic damage increase. So you want to get yourself those magic damage buffs by doing critical hits with your ranged or your melee attack, and that will boost your minion damage, giving them more damage overall. Other skills that matter in the minion tree are Ferocious Creatures, which increase your attack speed, Critical Command, that increases your minion's critical hit chance, and Longing for This World, which increases your minion's lifespan by 50%. The Owlux is my preferred pet for this build because I can improve my crit chance and get a movement speed boost with this pet. The Ferromoth also works well, but the lack of movement speed is a drawback. If you prefer attack pets, I recommend the Subterrier, the Fanhair, or the Ember Tail. The Subterrier can be helpful with defense, and the other two excel in range damage. These are the buff foods that I'm using for this build. For a breakdown on all of the buffs, check out my endgame food buff video, and you'll want to skip to the section for minions and summoner food to get the summoner specific ones, and then you'll want to check out the generic section at the beginning that gives you the details for the foods that I use in all of my builds. While this build doesn't require any additional weapons, having some other weapon that you can use to also attack will speed up the fight. If you rely entirely on your minions to do your damage, you'll still win, but the fight will be much slower. I found the jellyfish summons to be the best ones, but I also had success with the others, especially during the Atlantean worm fight. Of all the bosses, this build struggles the most with the Atlantean worm. Now, I have beaten it on hard mode using just the jellyfish, but it was much easier to use the skeletons or even the bats. I was able to stay much further away from the boss. Igneous is another boss that the summoner build can struggle on. At the time of recording, the minions don't do damage to Igneous's healing orbs. This requires that you have to attack them yourself. Now, this may not be a problem for you, but if you are relying entirely on summons, you're gonna have some problems. When exploring the wilds, this build does best by mixing up your summons. A few jellyfish to act as a defensive barrier, and like 3 to 5 skeletons to be your main aggressors. I found the bats are a bit too shy and don't attack as much as I would like. However, I don't really have this problem as much with the skeletons. I mean, it's still there, but I find it easier to get the skeletons to aggro. Overall, I think this is one of my weaker builds. It's definitely the slowest, and while you can take a few hits because of your magic barrier, you'll still find that it's easy to get killed if too many enemies get too close. I think the summoner build works best in multiplayer, where you have other player types to help supplement your attacks, or something that you do as a support for maybe some other class that you're primarily playing with. For example, you could swap out one of the rings with the Druidger ring to give yourself a little bit of poison ability, or you could just equip a sickle or a blowpipe and then use your minions to do a lot of attacks real quick and apply some poison, and then switch over to your poison build or a crit build or something like that to take advantage of the extra damage with the poison. Just one of the many options that you can do with the summoner build. I hope you found this video informative and helpful. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for future content, and if you are feeling really generous, please join us on Patreon or become a YouTube member. Your support means the world to me, and I can't do it without you. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. Stay happy, stay healthy, and above all, stay crazy.